And thank you for giving us this opportunity to present today. I represent a company called RMSI Cropalytics, and what we are attempting to essentially do is, basically bring a lot of automation to Indian agriculture. So if you really look at it, India as a country, 50% of our land is actually used for agriculture, right? About half the population is, again, in some form or the other, associated with agriculture. And about 90% of the water is used for agriculture. But if you really look at it, the contribution to Indian agriculture today, to the GDP, is about 20%, right? 50% of our land capital, 50% of our people are associated with it, and the contribution to the GDP is about roughly 20%. Yeah, and what that tells us is that there is enough and more opportunity to bring in more efficiency in Indian agriculture. So at Cropalytics, what we are trying to solve is bring tech and optimize agriculture. And during this presentation today, what I'll attempt to do is basically give you some sneak peek of how this tech can help the members of CLFMA. That's the agenda of this PowerPoint, right? So we know this. I think Naveen spoke about it, and then our moderator also spoke about this, that roughly 50 to 60% of our cost of production is actually animal feed. And we all understand how important it is. And it's not only important from the perspective of our business, but it's also important from the perspective of our consumers, because there's a lot of awareness today about the quality of the produce that we are bringing onto the table. So nutrition is extremely important because it powers growth, immunity, reproduction, etc., etc. And along with that, the quality of the feed that we are actually giving out in the market becomes extremely important because it directly impacts our profitability. So where's the problem? The problem is that in India, there is no agricultural crop map, right? Like if I were to look at the geography, India is roughly 660,000 villages, 7,000 odd districts, a huge place, a huge geography. And, 700 odd districts. And it's a huge geography. So if I were to cover the entire geography, there is no real crop map that's available with me. Like I don't know which crop is grown at a plot level or at a district level or at a sub-district. The sub-district level maybe, but not at a granular resolution. So there is no crop map which is available. And therefore what that leads us into is, I really don't know what is the acreage of the commodities that we're interested in. We don't know at a district level or a sub-district level or a village level, which is credible. The data which is credible, can be trusted, is backed by some kind of a validation. And that's not available today. So it essentially brings me to the problem of procurement, cost, pricing, quality, etc., etc. What we have today, and we all know, we have some government data available, some public sources, someone doing some survey here or there, but there is the data comes in either too late or the data is available at a resolution of a district. Nothing below a district, nothing say a sub-district level or a village level. Yeah, and that brings us to all of this problem. The first problem is, and we all spoke about it, volatility, and I'm sure during the day, other speakers would also stress, and Prerna ma'am right after me would also bring about the outlook for corn. But this is a very, very big problem for us, which is the volatility, because there is no available credible data, real time, which is available with us. The second problem is that because there is no credible data, at a reasonably small polygon, it brings us to the problem of identifying geographies, the right geographies for production. It brings us to the problem that we are not able to form great go-to-market or procurement strategy, as in whether I should go to an APMC mandi, whether I should procure directly from the farmers, or any other sources. It also does not give me or indicate any kind of a reasonable shift in terms of the cropping pattern or how it was 3 years back versus how it is today, what is its impact on the crop, the health, etc., etc. So largely the problem is around having credible acreage and production estimates at the granular level in a reasonably short and before the D-Day, right? So with all this problem, we thought that, with the kind of experience that we have, the RMSI has over the last 30 years, it makes sense for us to kind of solve this at scale. So what we are trying to do right now is introduce the India's first ever crop map, which is available not and refreshed, not every season, not every month, but every fortnight. It essentially means that now, by district, by village, we will be able to understand the acreage, the health and production estimates in every 15-day period. So ladies and gentlemen, it's my honor to introduce the crop map. I have a short audio visual for all of you. Just have a look. So what does this digital crop map do? So it's all about using satellite images and using satellite image to create and update the real-time crop map of maize and soybean. And I'm not talking about a state, I'm not talking about one particular district, I'm talking about all the 166 odd districts, all the 93 districts at the level of a village, right? And not only it is about creating and updating, but it is about making the data available to each one, all the players across the agri-value chain and stakeholders available at a click of a button. So you have a portal, using that portal, you have maps, and you can just go and access this data real time. Take all your business decisions. So, and the way the crop map is designed, it is designed to be extremely fluid. So you can have analytics come to you at a click of a button, and the analytics is available and you can play with it as per your need. So if you want a district level analysis or a sub-district level analysis or a plot analysis, you can have all of it. And the best part about it is the way we have designed this tech. We are at least 5 times faster than any source available in the market, and we are at least 5 times more affordable than any other source available in the market. That's the tech that's gone behind it. And using satellite images, what it allows us to do is actually look at each plot. So I'm not doing a sample survey. I'm actually not going ahead and deploying some estimation technique through interviews. But what I'm actually doing is I'm having a look at each and every plot that's available. So tomorrow, if you were to come back to me and say, hey, you know what, X is not the acreage, probably Y is, I can actually go back to that picture and show you where the standing crop exactly is and why that estimation is near accurate. Yeah? So what's the background engine? How does this entire methodology work? What is going behind this? So if you look at this chart, on the top left, you see a satellite image, right? So you procure the satellite image. Once this image is procured, what we do is we superimpose boundaries on top of it. Now this could be cadastre boundaries, this could be village boundaries, this could be state boundaries or a district boundary. Now once we geofence and put these boundaries in place, over the years we have collected several thousand crop GCPs and created signatures. So we understand that when we look at a satellite image, everything appears green from the top. But when you do and create crop signatures, and when you look at the satellite images, the spectral value tells you exactly which crop is present where, right? And when you do that, you are able to replicate and understand what is the exact estimation of acreage of that particular crop where. And there are several indices. One such indice is also something called as NDVI. I'm not going to go very deep into it, but it also helps us understand the chlorophyll content and therefore the health of the crop. So it does not only tell you the presence of a crop, but it also tells you the health of the crop. And if I were to put all this information into my AI/ML system, the way it is designed, it gives me an output of the likely production numbers, right? And all of this at a click of a button. So what makes RMSI Cropalytics the organization who has been able to do this? We have been in the business for the past 30 years, yeah? And we have been working on agriculture for several organizations, both in India and abroad. And over the period of time, we have created multiple base layers. When I say layers, I mean that we have, for example, a weather data for India at a district level for past 100 years. For past 100 years, I've got all the weather data. RMSI works in creating very credible digital map. Like as we speak now, we are working with several organizations building digital maps. We have village boundaries with us. All the 660,000 village boundaries geocoded with us today. And that's the layer that we have built over a period of time. We have created various signatures, crop signatures. So more than 50 crops and their risk profiles are created with us over last 30 years. And that makes the layers and the data sets that is required to build this at scale available. What we also have is the technology. So to be able to do this at scale for a country like India, what we essentially need is machine learning and artificial intelligence, because otherwise to be doing this at every 15 days is not possible. And at RMSI, we have invested heavily and we remain invested towards AI/ML technology, which brings us this ability to scale. And finally, the experience. In fact, a couple of months back, I was talking to very senior crop forecasting, an official, Government of India official for a crop forecasting agency. And he told me that, it gives us so much pleasure because I'm very proud to say that when you talk about remote sensing in agriculture, RMSI was the first organization in India to bring its application into space.
Kumar, sorry to interrupt. You have 1 more minute to go.
Yeah, I'll very quickly close. So what this brings is, it helps us in procurement at Tehsil, price advantage, real time with the crop map. It helps us, analyze various patterns. So therefore, if you were to introduce, say, genetically modified seeds, and if you were to increase or double the farmer's income, this data, because it gives you a clear understanding of production and acreage, is extremely useful. It helps you understand the full potential of geographies, the districts. It can help CLFMA and the government to plan imports and exports on time. And finally, it also helps you plan risk mitigation strategies from time to time. So if there is a volatility that's coming up, you are well prepared for it. So what I've just done is I've just used my credential to log into the portal. This is a SAS platform. And once you just enter into the SAS platform, it'll basically ask you a state. So let's say we select Madhya Pradesh and say any district, let's say Betul. And I select soybean, and I want to understand the soybean for current 2022 season. All I need to do is search for the data, and here we go. So for the district of Betul, sub-district Amla, by village, I know what is the acreage. And that's not all. What we can also do is view it in a map. So here's Betul. All the yellow lines that you see inside this district of Betul is actually the villages. Yeah, and they are the village boundaries. And what I need to do is just check on the acreage for soybean 2022, and all that you see, the red hot spots, is where soybean is right now, 2022. Yeah, I can further zoom in.
Thank you, Kumar.
Yeah, yeah, thank you so much. That I just, if we can switch back. I'd just like to give a sneak peek of soybean for everyone's benefit for 2022. I think this will be of some value. Yeah. So we observed that soybean acreage is down by almost 6% this year compared to last year. Yeah. And maximum impact has been in the state of Maharashtra, where it is down by 16%, followed by Madhya Pradesh, which is again below by 9%. As compared to 2021 data. And the reason has been excessive rainfall in this current Kharif season, sporadic rains. I think we were discussing this before, and that's a very, very evident trend. Rajasthan is the only state where soybean is up by 8%, and majorly erratic rainfall has been the reason. The health of soybean is also impacted. This year in the top 50 districts in India, roughly soybean is at 97 lakh hectare compared to 105 lakh hectare last year. And if I were to show you this map, you can see the condition of soybean being washed out in Madhya Pradesh. This is an image, satellite image taken for Nanded in Maharashtra. If you look at the microwave data on top, you see the first data that was taken on 19th of July, there is no water. 31st August, no water. But if you look at the last picture, you would see that it's all blue. So there have been a lot of water inundation, and soybean has got really, really impacted. So if you may expect some volatility this year in terms of availability of soybean. Thank you so much. I'll be around if there are any questions or any more thoughts. We'll be happy to share. Thank you.